get that fear under control. It's Grateful Monday and the Jenga champion of the world.
Welcome to the Hopefulist, a daily talk show hosted by veteran broadcaster Wendy McClure. Join Wendy each day as she shares her life lessons that transformed her from perpetual pessimist to the ultimate hopefulist. The perfect morning show to get you caught up on the day's top stories while sharing insights that will lead to positive transformation and bring out the hopefulist in you. For more inspiration, visit Hopefulist.com. And now, here's your host and hopefulist, Wendy McClure.
Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to a Monday. It is June 1st. We made it to June 2020, day 260 of Gotta Get on Ellen. Who can believe it? We are finally in June. Weather's starting to look a little bit better, but we're in a little bit of a cold snap right now. That's okay. That's okay. I need to stay inside and get a little work done anyway. You know, when I feel the nice warm weather, I just want to get into my summer uniform, my bathing suit, and sit outside for as long as possible. We finally got a nice, warm, and sunny day on Saturday, and then we were invaded by bugs. We get gnats really bad around where I live, and they're typically very active from like mid-May to mid-June. So they're going to be hanging around for a few more weeks. Thank goodness we have a screened-in porch. They get in there too, but it's not nearly as bad as when you're sitting outside. But, you know, at this point, we've been sitting in the porch for months. I just want to sit on the deck. I just want to sit on the deck and wave at the boats as they go by. So I know there are definitely worse things in life. But here we are enjoying the weather. And since it's Grateful Monday, I actually have something that I wrote down in my gratitude journal that related to the weather. Well, I almost always do something that's related to the weather. But if you're not familiar with Grateful Monday, it's the day that I go over some of my own personal entries from my own personal gratitude journal as an example to show you how simple it is and how easy it can be for you to just find a couple of things throughout the day to write down that you are grateful for. Here are some of my entries from the past week. I added a page to my website. That's right, I know how to do that stuff now. I can add pages to my own website. Can't create a website, but I can add pages to it. I got a text from my girl Dina. I hadn't heard from her in a while, and I typically text her, so it was nice. And she even put in at the end, she goes, I think of you much more often than I actually contact you. And I was like, I know you do. Of course you do. How could you not? I am delightful. My single flower out front in my own garden, I had posted a picture of it over the weekend saying it was going in my gratitude journal, and it did indeed. Like I said, a lot of my gratitude has to do with the sun. And Saturday, I sat in the sun all day long. All day. I gave myself a break. I had gotten the latest John Grisham novel, Camino Winds, and I sat in the sun and I read until I was done. I love John Grisham. Really. I mean, I know a lot of people, kind of hassle him, like, real literary people. They kind of make fun of him and say that he's not a real writer or not a literary writer, but he's got a lot of money, that's for sure. He writes page turners. He writes books that keep you interested, and that is what I love about reading. So I always am very excited when John Grisham comes out with a new book. If you've not read Camino Winds, it's kind of a second book off of Camino Island. So this is about the same character from Camino Island, now called Camino Winds. Little not into the legal aspect as much. There's a little bit of, legal things going on in there, but it's not about a lawyer. So check it out if you get a chance. So like I said, I just literally sat in the sun all day long, even though the bugs were chasing me inside and out, inside and out. Sprayed myself with some bug spray. And then I was texting with our neighbors who are part-time right next door to us. They are live up north in North Jersey, and they've been down here predominantly for the whole time that quarantine has been going on. And they left, I think, last Thursday to go home for about a week and a half, they said. And so I texted the both of them on Sunday saying, notice how the weather has improved dramatically since you've been gone. So we were all chatting back and forth for a little while. So it was it's always nice, you know. It's nice to have some fun. It's nice to have great neighbors. We are very, very lucky. We love almost all of our neighbors. The good news is I made it through the weekend eating healthy. You know why? I had to stay on track this weekend because my husband is going to be off for a week starting next Monday. And I do not plan on holding back. I mean, it's not going to be a food fest or anything, but I got to tell you, I'm looking forward to it. So I thought I had to kind of stay on track a little bit over the weekend so that I don't, do my usual, put on a couple of pounds and then take a whole week to get them off. I wanted to kind of stay where I was, and I have put on maybe half a pound. I ate healthy through the whole weekend. I didn't eat anything that I would normally not eat on a weekday. Did indulge in a few adult beverages, not that many, did pretty well. So I'm very happy. So once I get to Friday afternoon when he gets home, all bets are off. I'm not worrying about my food intake for the week. I will still be careful, though. Not going to be like a free-for-all. I do often joke saying I'm going to eat my face off, and I did say those words to my husband yesterday. I said, once Friday comes, I'm going to eat my face off. No, I'm going to try and stay calm, indulge in a little of my favorites here and there. But we are very much looking forward to his week off. Of course, we are not going anywhere, but we have a lot of projects to get to here at home. Speaking of which, I did want to tell you about, we've been rehauling our dock. We have been trying to strip the paint off, and in order to repaint it, we've been trying to get it down to the bare wood to start fresh, start over. And man, it has been a project to say the least. I've spent a lot of time out there peeling and scraping, and what makes it so hard is that it's a dock. You can't just scrape the paint. It'll go into the water. You have to catch it. You can't let the paint go into the water. Some of it is falling into the water. It's inevitable. So far, nobody has yelled at us. I'm waiting for a boat to go by and be like, hey, you're getting paint in the water. What are you doing? We did have a guy go by yesterday. Joe and I were both out there. A guy went by in a boat. He goes, you guys are really putting a lot of labor into this. I'm like, I know, it's getting old. But Joe did a lot of work yesterday. He did an amazing job. So bravo to my husband. I'm going to give him a nice round of applause. Thank you, Joe, for all your hard work. Me and Tucker appreciate it. Speaking of Tucker, Joe and I have started playing a new game that we enjoy. I'm sure you heard of it. It's called Jenga. As we're playing Jenga, and I'm winning most of the time, except for that last game. I didn't win the last game, so that's when we stopped playing because I'm a horribly sore loser. It's true. I'm a terrible loser. I'm a smug, obnoxious winner. I'm one of the worst. It's terrible. You don't really care, though. I think I'm fun. But as we're playing Jenga, I think we played 3 or 4 games. Joe just keeps telling me, you're really good at this game, which makes me just love it more. I'm like, am I? Oh, okay. Well, I'm going to keep playing then. So we have been indulging in a little Jenga. However, Tucker does not enjoy it. Because when it topples, it makes a lot of noise, and it scares her. So there's yet another game we can't play around Tucker. We cannot play any games around Tucker. It's crazy. You know, because she's a dog, so she's obsessed with balls. And one of my favorite games, and this is one of the reasons I used to drag Joe to the beach, and I haven't really done it in the last couple of years, but I love that little paddle game that people play on the beach. You know, you just get the tiny little rackets and you just hit the ball back and forth. I love that game. I think it's so fun. We could never play that here in our own yard because she would eat the ball. It's small enough where she would just swallow that thing whole. So we don't play that. Whenever we play cornhole, she freaks out because she thinks that we should be tossing the beanbags to her, and we make her stay up on the deck, and she just cries, walks back and forth watching us throw the beanbags, just cries. We can hardly play anything. And then there's that ladder ball game. Have you ever played ladder ball? Gosh, I love that game. It's so fun. Another one. It's got balls on the end of it. So I don't think that she would appreciate that either. So now, finally, we find something. She doesn't mind cards. In fact, I think she enjoys when we play cards. But now we can't even play Jenga because it scares the poor thing to death. I mean, she really jumps. So she's worth it, though. We'll work around her issues. She's got a lot of issues, you know. 1, she's a woman. That's right, I said it. 2, she is old and getting crotchety. Today's topic, I wanted to know, would you go out to eat at this point? I would. No doubt, not a question in my mind. If there's a restaurant open, I'm there. I almost don't even care what they serve, if it's good or bad. I need out. I asked my husband about it, and he said that he's probably a little leery still about getting to the gym, which I was a little surprised about. But he had said, because there's always people that ruin it. There's always people that, you know, are going to sneeze somewhere, and I don't know. Yeah, I get what he's saying. But I have to say that most people said they would go out if possible. I'm going to say it's about 65% say yes, about 35% say no. My friend Lori says, I really want to go to the Porthole for a roast beef sandwich and a beer. That is our favorite place around here. I cannot wait to hang at the Porthole. Renee says, yes, I would. Florida has lots of outside dining. Only problem, too damn hot to sit outside unless you were on the water. So I wrote back, yeah, I feel terrible for you. It's just awful. We had a couple of funny responses. Eleanor says, Longhorn, here I come. I'm guessing that's her favorite place. Michelle says, I've already been out twice. Michelle lives in Texas, and they've been allowing people back in restaurants for quite some time. A lot of people vote for outdoor dining, which is really the only thing that will be available. Mary says, I would not. I never go out at this time of year anyway because we live in a tourist town. It's crazy busy. She said, that being said, I will wait until they know what the blank is going on. Now, Marianne posed a very good question. She said, I'm not sure. I want to be cautious. But the question is, can you use the restrooms inside while dining outside? I said, that is a very good question because, you know, I always need a bathroom. Always need a bathroom, especially if I'm having a beer or two. Andy says, no, I'll wait. I'm at risk, so I'll chill at home and live to eat another day. Ann says, nope, not happening for a while. And Kate says, I probably wouldn't go the first couple of weeks just because the economy is reopening. The virus is still just as contagious. Oh, and Mina, I wanted to read. She said, I got to go a restaurant in southern Utah. I felt so happy and grateful. They wore masks and sat everyone outside. So, yes, some outdoor dining going there as well. Yeah, you know, we need to get out. I need to get out. Craziness. Just craziness, I tell you. But now that the weather is hopefully starting to cooperate a little bit, they're opening some outside dining areas. Hopefully it'll be something. It'll be at least better than having every single meal at home. Every single meal. Crazy. On to today's blog post, controlling our fear. That's right. You can control your fear when it comes to eating out. Either go or don't. It is really that simple. But when it comes to other things, always think, what's the worst that can happen? And have some kind of strategy to deal with it. That is a quote from Sir Richard Branson, multi-gazillionaire. We are often afraid, and we're not even sure of what. We have all these fears running through our head, and often our greatest fears never even come true. Like, what if I end up alone forever? What if I never have kids? What if I never get that promotion? What if my marriage breaks up? Now, don't get me wrong. These are real fears, but more times than not, they never even happen. It's such a waste of time to worry about things that can or can't happen. But how can we control these out of control fears? Well, make a plan for the worst. It's no fun to think of a worst case scenario, let alone making a plan for it. But honestly, aren't you always thinking about the worst anyway? Aren't you always afraid to start or end something based on some sort of fear, even if you aren't being specific about what you're worried about? We worry if we leave our job to start our own business that we'll go broke. That is why an undertaking such as that takes planning. And you make a plan for what happens if you do fall flat on your face, which a lot of businesses do not do, by the way. But here's something. You won't die. You may lose your house. You may struggle with bills. You may have to start over again. Only you can decide if the possible pros outweigh the possible cons. The first step is to have a plan in place for whatever happens, even if it's the worst thing possible. Because after you come up with that plan, something amazing happens. You're free. You don't have to think and worry all the time because you know exactly what you will do if the worst happens. This goes for every area of your life. Make a plan for what happens if you never find your soulmate and do end up living single for your whole life. I did this. I got to 39, and I was like, well, it looks like it's not going to happen for me. Got to start making plans. And that's what I did. I bought my condo. I got it on a shore house, and then started dating my now husband. It's so weird and annoying how you really just have to come to terms with letting go of something you want so badly, and then it happens. It's crazy. It's annoying. But what can you do to make the most of it? That's what I had started to do. I had tried to start making plans to make the most of being single for the rest of my life. Bought a condo. Started hanging out with friends more. Made sure that I included things in my life that made me the happiest. How can you make life the happiest for yourself without having someone intimate in your life to share it with? What will happen if your marriage fails? What will you do? How will you handle it? I don't think considering such issues means you think your marriage will fail. I simply think it means that we want to be aware of our options of all times. Someone can cheat or develop a drug habit or even turn to a life of crime. You never know. Did you see Breaking Bad? One of my favorite lines from the series Breaking Bad is when his wife is talking to her lawyer and she says, I didn't marry a drug dealer. And the lawyer says, well, you're married to one now. True, right? True. You never know what can happen. That's a bit extreme, but having a plan in place will set your mind at ease. So you won't have to worry. Come up with a plan for a worst-case scenario for whatever it is you are most afraid of. I bet the end result of that plan isn't nearly as bad as all of the possibilities that have been floating in your head at all times of the day. Once you come up with the plan, you will hopefully realize that even the worst isn't as bad as you thought it would be. And if it does happen, you're ready. You don't want it to happen, but you know what you're going to do. So do it. Make a plan. It's not fun, but it's better than torturing yourself on a daily basis thinking about what if. It is Monday. It's my favorite day of the week after Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. It's a brand new week full of possibilities and opportunities. Now, I want you to go out and be your badass self. I am cheering for you.
Thank you for listening to The Hopefulist, hosted by Wendy McClure. For more inspiration, please visit Hopefulist.com. Thanks, and we'll see you tomorrow on The Hopefulist.
Hopefulist training here this week. More information to come.